The research ship Horizon's Edge moved slowly through the empty space around. Kepler 442b, Dr. Maya Collins, pressed her face against the observation window and looked down at the dead planet below. The mining colony that once lived here was gone. Every building was destroyed. Every person was dead. "Another Void Hunter attack," Captain Jake Morrison said as he walked up beside her. "Same as the other 17 colonies, nothing left but ruins." Maya nodded but kept looking at the planet. Something felt wrong about this place. The other attack sites had been picked clean, but her scanners were showing strange readings from the surface. There was something down there that did not belong. "Captain, I want to take a team down to the surface," Maya said. "My equipment is picking up biological signatures." Captain Morrison shook his head. "Too dangerous. If there are Void Hunters still down there, they will kill anyone who gets close." "The readings are not showing active life signs," Maya explained. "Whatever is down there, it is not moving. It might be dead. Or trapped." Dr. Peter Kane joined them at the window. He was the ship's medical officer and Maya's closest friend on the crew. "Maya, even a dead Void Hunter is dangerous. Their bodies stay toxic for weeks after death." Maya turned to face both men. "We have been studying these creatures for 5 years. We know almost nothing about them except that they kill everything they find. This might be our first chance to actually examine one up close." Captain Morrison was quiet for a long moment. He looked at the dead planet below. "What exactly are your scanners showing?" Maya pulled up the data on her tablet. "There is a large biological mass trapped in ice formation about 2 miles under the surface. It has been there for at least 6 months, maybe longer. The ice is natural, not artificial. Something happened that froze it in place. Could be anything," Dr. Kane said. "Maybe some local animal that got caught in a cave-in." "Peter, look at the size readings," Maya said, pointing to her screen. "This thing is 12 feet tall and weighs over 800 pounds. There are no local animals that big on this planet. There never were." Captain Morrison studied the data. Maya could see him thinking. The crew of the Horizon's Edge were all scientists and researchers. They had spent years traveling from one dead colony to another, always arriving too late to save anyone. They had never found a single clue about what the Void Hunters really were or where they came from. "If we do this, we do it carefully," the captain said finally. "Full environmental suits. Armed security team. And if anything goes wrong, we leave immediately." Maya felt excitement building in her chest. "Thank you, Captain." "I promise we will be careful." 2 hours later, Maya was standing on the surface of Kepler 442b with a team of 6 other crew members. The planet was cold and empty. The ruins of the mining colony stretched out around them like broken teeth. Maya tried not to think about the families who had lived here just a few months ago. Lieutenant Commander Ross Bennett led the security team. He carried a heavy plasma rifle and kept looking around nervously. "Dr. Collins, let's make this quick. This place gives me the creeps." Maya was already setting up her drilling equipment. "The readings show the biological mass is directly below. U.S., we need to drill down about 100 feet to reach the ice layer." The drilling took 3 hours. Maya's hands were shaking with excitement as they broke through into the frozen cavern below. She lowered a camera probe down the hole and connected it to her tablet. The image that appeared on her screen made everyone step back. It was definitely a Void Hunter. Maya had seen pictures and video recordings from the colony attacks, but nothing had prepared her for seeing one this close. The creature was massive, even bigger than the scanner readings had suggested. Its body was covered in black armor-like skin that seemed to absorb light. Multiple rows of sharp teeth filled its mouth and long claws extended from its hands, but something was wrong with this one. Its eyes were closed and its body was perfectly still. The bioluminescent patterns along its spine were completely dark. Maya had never seen a Void Hunter without those glowing lines. "It's definitely dead," Dr. Kane said, looking over Maya's shoulder at the image. "No," Maya said quietly. "Look at the ice formation around it. This is not natural freezing." The creature was trapped while it was still alive. The ice formed around its body heat. Lieutenant Commander Bennett moved closer to the hole. Are you saying that thing is still alive down there? Maya adjusted the camera probe to get a better view. I need to run some more detailed scans, but yes. I think it is still alive. Frozen, but alive. Then we leave now? Bennett said firmly. We are not bringing a live Void Hunter onto our ship. Wait. Maya said, look at this. She pointed to her scanner readings. The creature's biological functions are almost completely shut down. It is not just frozen, it is starving. Dr. Kane looked at the readings. That's impossible. Void Hunters are apex predators. They can survive for months without food. That's what we thought, Maya said. But look at these tissue density readings. This creature is severely malnourished. It has been trapped down there for a long time, and it was already starving when it got frozen. Captain Morrison's voice came through. They're radio communicators. What's your status down there? Maya looked at her team. Bennett was clearly against the idea, but Dr. Kane looked curious. The other crew members were waiting for her decision. Captain, we found a live Void Hunter, Maya said. But it's trapped in ice and appears to be starving. One want to bring it back to the ship for study. The radio was quiet for a long moment. Then Captain Morrison's voice came back, sounding stressed. Maya, you cannot be serious. Those things have killed thousands of people. Captain, this might be our only chance to understand them, Maya said. If we can learn what they need to survive, maybe we can find a way to stop the attacks. Or maybe we can find a way to kill them more efficiently, Bennett muttered. Maya ignored the security chief. Captain, I am looking at a creature that is dying of starvation. That does not match anything we know about Void Hunter behavior. They are supposed to be perfect killing machines, but this one could not even find enough food to survive. Dr. Kane was studying his own scanner. Maya's right. The biological readings show extreme malnutrition. This creature has been slowly starving for months. How do we even get it out of there? Bennett asked. Maya was already thinking about the logistics. We use the ship's mining beam to cut through the ice. Then we lift it out with the cargo bay crane. The creature is frozen solid, so it cannot move or attack anyone. And then what? Dr. Kane asked. We cannot just leave it frozen forever. We study it, Maya said. We figure out what it needs to survive. We learn everything we can about its biology and behavior. For the first time, we might actually understand what we are dealing with. Captain Morrison's voice came through the radio. Again, Maya, this is extremely dangerous. If that thing wakes up on my ship, it could kill everyone on board. Captain, it is already dying, Maya said. If we leave it here, it will be dead in a few days anyway. But if we can save it, we might save thousands of human lives by understanding what these creatures really need. The radio was quiet for almost a minute. Maya could imagine the captain thinking through all the risks. Finally, his voice came back. All right, Dr. Collins, we will extract the creature. But it goes directly into the maximum security biocontainment lab. And if anything goes wrong, anything at all, we space it immediately. Maya smiled inside her helmet. Thank you, Captain. I promise we will be careful. As the team prepared to extract the frozen Void Hunter, Maya stared down at the creature in the ice. She had studied these beings for years, but only from attack footage and scattered remains. Now she was about to come face to face with one of the galaxy's most feared predators. She just hoped she could keep it alive long enough to learn its secrets. The extraction took 6 hours. Maya watched through the cargo bay cameras as the ship's mining beam slowly cut through the ice around the frozen Void Hunter. The creature remained perfectly still, locked in its icy prison like some ancient monster from a nightmare. Vital signs are still present but very weak, Dr. Kane reported from the medical bay. Core body temperature is nearly frozen solid. If we are going to save this thing, we need to warm it up slowly. Maya had spent the last 3 days preparing the biocontainment lab. The room was designed to hold the most dangerous specimens in the galaxy. Energy barriers, reinforced walls, and automated defense systems surrounded a central holding area. If the creature woke up angry, it would be trapped. Biocontainment is ready, Maya announced over the ship's communication system. Bring it. Down carefully. The frozen Void Hunter was massive. Even unconscious and covered in ice, it looked terrifying. Maya had seen the attack footage from the destroyed colonies. These creatures move faster than anything that size should be able to move. Their claws could cut through steel like paper. Their teeth could bite through combat armor, but this one looked different. Up close, Maya could see that its black armor-like skin was dull and cracked. The bioluminescent lines along its spine that should have been glowing were completely dark. This was not a healthy predator. This was a dying animal. Placing the specimen in biocontainment now, announced Chief Engineer Danny Walsh over the intercom. The crane lowered the ice block into the center of the containment area. Energy barriers activated around it. Immediately, Maya stood outside the containment room and watched as the automatic systems began the warming process. Heat lamps slowly raised the temperature inside the chamber. The ice began to melt, dripping. Onto the floor? How long until it wakes up? Captain Morrison asked. He had been watching the whole process with obvious concern. Based on the biological readings, maybe 6 to 8 hours, Maya said. Its body functions are almost completely shut down. It will take time for everything to restart. Lieutenant Commander Bennett was checking his weapons. When it wakes up, it's going to be angry. These things kill everything they see. Maybe, Maya said, but maybe not. Look at these nutrition analysis reports. She showed them her tablet. This creature has been starving for months. It's not acting like a normal predator because it's not healthy. Dr. Kane looked at the data. These, mineral deficiency readings are extreme. It's missing almost everything it needs for proper biological function. Maya had been working on this problem for days. She had analyzed tissue samples from the ice and compared them to biological data from other predator species. The Void Hunters. Body chemistry was unlike anything in the galactic database. I think I know what it needs, Maya said. I've been working on a nutrient solution. It's a combination of rare minerals and proteins that should help restore its biological balance. You want to feed it? Bennett asked in disbelief. I want to save it, Maya corrected. And the only way to do that is to give it what its body needs. Captain Morrison was quiet for a moment. Maya, we have no idea how these creatures will react to contact with humans. Every encounter we know about has ended in death. Every encounter has involved healthy, aggressive predators, Maya said. This one is different. It's weak, starving, and alone. Maybe it will react differently. The melting process continued through the night. Maya stayed in the lab, monitoring the creature's vital signs and preparing her nutrient solution. The mixture was complex, requiring elements that were rare in most parts of the galaxy. She had to synthesize some compounds from scratch. Dr. Kane joined her around midnight. You should get some sleep. It won't wake up for hours. I want to be ready, Maya said. This might be our only chance to communicate with one of these creatures. You really think it will listen to you? Kane asked. Maya looked at the slowly melting ice. I think it's desperate. Desperate creatures sometimes make choices they wouldn't normally make. The Void Hunter woke up at dawn. Maya was half asleep at her monitoring station when the alarm started screaming. The creature's bioluminescent patterns suddenly blazed to life, pulsing angry red along its spine. Its eyes snapped open, revealing pupils that glowed like burning coals. All hands to emergency stations, Captain Morrison's voice echoed through the ship. Biocontainment breach alert. But the energy barriers were still active. The creature was awake, but it was still trapped. Maya watched in fascination as it slowly stood up. Even weakened, it moved with deadly grace. Its head turned left and right, taking in its surroundings. Lieutenant Commander Bennett rushed into the lab with a full security team. Dr. Collins, step away from the containment area immediately. The Void Hunter noticed the movement. Its head snapped toward the humans, and it bared its teeth in a terrifying snarl. The bioluminescent patterns on its spine pulsed faster, and it moved toward the energy barrier. It's testing the barriers, Maya said, still watching the creature. It's trying to find a way out. Well, it's not getting out, Bennett said. Those barriers can hold a military battleship. The creature slammed into the energy barrier with incredible force. The impact sent shockwaves through the room, but the barrier held. The Void Hunter tried again, then again. Each time, the barrier absorbed the impact and held firm. "It's getting weaker," Dr. Kane observed. "Look at the bio readings. It's using up the last of its energy." Maya watched the creature's movements becoming slower and less coordinated. It was dying right in front of them. All the energy it had gained from the warming process was being used up in its escape attempts. "I need to feed it now," Maya said. "If we wait any longer, it will be too weak to recover." "Absolutely not," Bennett said. "You are not going anywhere near that thing." Maya picked up the container of nutrient solution she had prepared. "I'm not going inside the containment area. I'm just going to use the feeding port." The feeding port was a small opening in the energy barrier designed to allow researchers to give food to contained specimens. It was heavily protected and could be sealed instantly if needed. "Maya, this is too dangerous," Captain Morrison said over the intercom. "We don't know how it will react." "Captain, it's dying," Maya said. "If we don't try this, we'll lose our only chance to study a live Void Hunter." The creature had stopped trying to break through the barrier. It was now lying on the floor, its breathing labored. The bioluminescent patterns were flickering weakly. Maya approached the feeding port slowly. The container of nutrient solution was heavy in her hands. She had spent hours calculating the correct mixture. If she was wrong, the creature would die anyway. The Void Hunter's head turned toward her as she got closer, its glowing eyes focused on her face. Maya had never been this close to one of these creatures before. She could see intelligence in those eyes, not just animal instinct. "Easy," Maya said softly. "I'm trying to help you." The creature made a sound Maya had never heard before. It was not the roar she expected from attack footage. It was almost like a whimper. Maya opened the feeding port and slowly pushed the container through. The nutrient solution was a thick, dark liquid that smelled like metal and chemicals. She had no idea if the creature would even recognize it as food. The Void Hunter looked at the container, then at Maya. Its bioluminescent patterns shifted from angry red to a softer orange color. Maya had never seen that color pattern before. Slowly, carefully, the creature reached out and took the container. Its claws were long and sharp, but it handled the container gently. It sniffed the liquid, then looked at Maya again. "Go ahead," Maya said. "It's what you need." The creature drank the entire container in one motion. Maya watched as its bioluminescent patterns began to change again. The weak flickering became stronger. The orange color shifted to a calm blue-green. "Incredible," Dr. Kane whispered. "Look at the biological readings. Its metabolism is stabilizing." The Void Hunter set down the empty container and looked at Maya. For a long moment, they stared at each other through the energy barrier. Then the creature made that soft whimpering sound again. "I think it's saying thank you," Maya said, "Lieutenant." Commander Bennett was still holding his weapon ready. "Or it's planning how to kill you when it gets strong enough." But Maya was watching the creature's bioluminescent patterns. They were pulsing in a slow, steady rhythm. The angry red was completely gone. The creature lay down on the floor and closed its eyes, but kept the blue-green patterns glowing softly. "It's not acting like a predator," Maya said. "It's acting like a grateful patient." Over the next few hours, Maya established a routine. She brought the creature food every few hours, always using the feeding port. Each time, the Void Hunter would look at her with those intelligent eyes and make soft sounds. Dr. Kane was amazed by the biological changes. Its muscle tone is improving. Brain activity is increasing. This creature is recovering faster than should be possible, because it's finally getting what it needs, Maya said. "I think these creatures have been starving for a long time. Maybe that's why they attack colonies. They're not hunting humans. They're looking for food?" Captain Morrison joined them in the lab. "Maya, what you've done here is incredible. But we need to decide what happens next. We can't keep a live Void Hunter on the ship forever." Maya looked at the creature, now resting peacefully in the containment area. 3 weeks had passed since the Void Hunter woke up. Maya had been visiting the creature 3 times every day, bringing it food and water. She had started calling it Echo because it would repeat sounds she made. When she hummed, it would hum, back in a deep, rumbling voice. When she tapped on the barrier, it would tap back with one claw. The bioluminescent patterns are definitely communication, Maya told Dr. Kane as they watched Echo through the observation window. Look how the colors change when I talk to it. Echo was much healthier now. Its black armor-like skin was smooth and shiny. The bioluminescent lines along its spine glowed steadily in soft blue and green colors. When Maya approached, the patterns would pulse faster, like a heartbeat. It recognizes you, Dr. Kane said. When other crew members come close, the patterns turn orange, but with you they stay blue-green, Maya smiled. I think it trusts me. Yesterday, when I was late with its afternoon feeding, it made those whimpering sounds until I arrived. Lieutenant Commander Bennett was still not convinced. Dr. Collins, you're getting too attached to this creature. It's still a void hunter. It could kill everyone on this ship. Ross, it's been 3 weeks, Maya said. If Echo wanted to hurt us, it would have found a way by now. These creatures are supposed to be incredibly smart. It knows we're keeping it alive. Captain Morrison joined them at the observation window. Maya, I've been thinking about what we do when we reach Earth. The military will want to study Echo. They might not be as gentle as you've been. Maya's stomach tightened. She had been dreading this conversation. Captain, Echo isn't just a specimen anymore. It's shown intelligence, communication ability, and emotional responses. It deserves to be treated with respect. The Colonial Defense Force sees it as a weapon, the captain said. They think if we can understand how void hunters work, we can find better ways to fight them. What if we don't need to fight them? Maya asked. What if we can find a way to communicate with them instead? Before anyone could answer, the ship's alarm system started screaming. Red lights flashed throughout the corridor, and Captain Morrison's communicator crackled to life. Captain, we have multiple ships approaching fast, came the voice of Navigator Kelly Adams. They're not responding to our signals. Pirates, Bennett said immediately. They must have been tracking us. Captain Morrison ran toward the bridge. All hands to emergency stations. Dr. Collins, get to the escape pods. Maya looked through the observation window at Echo. The creature was standing at the barrier, its bioluminescent patterns flashing bright red. It seemed to sense the danger. Maya, we need to go, Dr. Kane said, pulling her arm. I can't leave. Echo, Maya said. If the ship is damaged, the containment system might fail. It could be trapped. That's exactly why we need to leave, Bennett said. If that thing gets loose during a battle, it will kill everyone. The ship shook violently as the first weapons hit their shields. Maya could hear the sound of metal tearing somewhere in the distance. The pirates were using military-grade weapons. Dr. Collins, this is Captain Morrison, came the voice over the intercom. Get to Escape Pod 3 immediately. That's an order. Maya looked at Echo one more time. The creature was pressed against the energy barrier, its patterns flashing between red and blue-green. It was looking directly at her. I'm sorry, Maya whispered Dot as she turned to leave. The ship shook again. This time, the lights went out completely. Emergency power kicked in a few seconds later, but Maya could see that several control panels were dark. The containment system is losing power, Dr. Kane said, checking his readings. The energy barriers are failing. Maya felt her heart stop. How long do we have? Maybe 10 minutes before complete failure, Kane said. Bennett was already on his radio. Captain, the bio-containment barriers are failing. We need to evacuate this section immediately. Negative, came the captain's voice. The pirates have boarded the ship. The escape pods are compromised. Everyone needs to find secure positions and wait for the all-clear. Maya looked at the containment area. The energy barriers were flickering weakly. Echo was still standing at the barrier, but now it was looking at the failing systems instead of at her. It knows, Maya said. It knows the barriers are failing. Another explosion shook the ship. This time, the containment system shut down completely. The energy barriers disappeared and Echo was free. Bennett raised his weapon immediately. Stay. Back, Dr. Collins, I'll handle this. But Eco did not charge at them. Instead, it stepped slowly out of the containment area and looked around the room. Its bioluminescent patterns were pulsing rapidly, cycling through different colors. Don't shoot, Maya said. It's not attacking. Yet, Bennett said. Keeping his weapon aimed at Eco, the creature turned toward Maya and made a soft sound. Its patterns shifted to blue-green, the same color they showed when she brought it food. It's trying to communicate, Maya said. Ross, lower your weapon. Dr. Collins, step away from the creature, Bennett ordered. Eco's head turned toward Bennett. The patterns shifted to orange, then to red. It took a step forward, and Bennett's finger moved to the trigger. No, Maya shouted. She stepped between Bennett and Eco. You don't understand. It's not aggressive unless it feels threatened. Maya, get out of the way, Bennett said. That thing is a killer. The sound of running footsteps echoed through the corridor outside the lab. Someone was screaming. The pirates had found this section of the ship. Echo's patterns suddenly flashed bright red. It moved past Maya and Bennett toward the door. For a moment, Maya thought it was going to run. Instead, it positioned itself between the humans and the entrance. It's protecting us, Maya said in amazement. The lab door burst open. 3 pirates in combat armor rushed in, carrying heavy weapons. They saw Echo immediately and opened fire. What happened next was almost too fast to follow. Echo moved. Like liquid shadow, faster than Maya had ever seen anything move. The first pirate barely had time to scream before Eco's claws found his throat. The second pirate managed to fire twice before Echo reached him. The third pirate tried to run, but Eco caught him in the doorway. The fight was over in less than 30 seconds. Echo stood in the doorway, its patterns pulsing bright red. There was no sign of the 3 pirates except for their weapons on the floor. My God, Dr. Kane whispered. It's even more dangerous than we thought. But Maya was watching Eco's patterns. The red was fading back to blue-green. The creature turned toward her and made that soft whimpering sound again. It's not dangerous to us, Maya said. It only killed them because they were shooting at us. Bennett was staring at the empty doorway. Those were military-grade weapons. It took them down like they were children. More footsteps echoed in the corridor. Echo's patterns flashed red again, and it moved into the hallway. Maya could hear sounds of fighting, but it was moving away from the lab. It's hunting the pirates, Bennett said. It's going after all of them, Maya's communicator crackled. All hands, this is Captain Morrison. The boarding party has been eliminated. I repeat, the boarding party has been eliminated. How is this possible? Bennett looked at Maya. Should we tell him? Dr. Collins, report to the bridge immediately, came the captain's voice. We need to understand what happened here. Maya found Echo in the main corridor 20 minutes later. The creature was sitting next to a pile of pirate weapons, its patterns glowing softly blue-green. When it saw Maya, it made a happy chirping sound and stood up. Are you hurt? Maya asked. Echo made several sounds and touched its chest with one claw. Maya could see a small burn mark where one of the pirate weapons had hit it, but it did not seem serious. You saved us, Maya said. You saved everyone on the ship. Echo's patterns pulsed brighter. It stepped closer to Maya, but stopped when it saw Bennett approaching with a security team. It's all right, Maya told Echo. They're friends. Echo looked at Bennett, then at Maya. Its patterns shifted to orange, but not the angry red from before. It was being cautious, but not hostile. Dr. Collins, Bennett said slowly, I owe you an apology. And I think I owe that creature my life, Maya smiled. His name is Echo. Echo, Bennett repeated. How did it know which humans to protect and which ones to kill? It's been watching us for 3 weeks, Maya said. It knows who takes care of it and who doesn't. It knows who is part of the crew and who is an enemy. Captain Morrison arrived with more crew members. They all stopped when they saw Echo standing next to Maya. Dr. Collins, the captain said carefully, is that creature under your control? It's not under anyone's control, Maya said. But it trusts me. And it seems to understand that we're not enemies. Echo made a sound and pointed down the corridor with one claw. Its patterns flashed red briefly, then returned to blue-green. "I think it's telling us there are more pirates somewhere," Maya said. Captain Morrison nodded to Bennett. "Take a team and check the lower decks. But keep Dr. Collins and the creature. With you, if it can identify enemies, we need that ability." As they moved through the ship, Maya realized something important had changed. Echo was no longer a specimen or a prisoner. It had become a protector, a guardian that had chosen to defend the people who had saved its life, the creature that had once been the galaxy's most feared. Predator was now walking beside her like a loyal companion. Maya had fed a starving monster, and it had become her guardian. The Horizon's Edge reached Earth orbit 3 days after the pirate attack. Maya stood in the observation deck with Echo beside her, looking down at the blue and green planet below. The creature had not left her side since the battle. It followed her everywhere, like a massive shadow with glowing patterns. "First time seeing Earth?" Maya asked Echo. The creature made a soft sound and pointed at the planet with one claw. Its bioluminescent patterns pulsed in slow waves of blue and green. "Dr. Collins, report to the bridge immediately," came Captain Morrison's voice over the intercom. "We have visitors." Maya sighed. She had been expecting this. "Come on, Echo. Time to meet some new people." The bridge was crowded with people Maya did not recognize. Men and women in military uniforms stood around the main view screen. At the center of the group was a tall woman with silver hair and cold blue eyes. "Dr. Collins," Captain Morrison said, "this is Admiral Lisa Crawford, head of Colonial Defense." Admiral Crawford looked at Maya, then at Echo. The creature had positioned itself slightly behind Maya, its patterns showing cautious orange. "Dr. Collins, what you have accomplished here is remarkable," the Admiral said. "You have tamed the galaxy's most dangerous predator. The military applications are enormous. Echo is not tamed," Maya said firmly. "And it's not a weapon. It's an intelligent being that deserves respect." "It's a void hunter," Admiral Crawford said. "These creatures have killed over 50,000 humans in the past 5 years. They are monsters." Echo's patterns flashed red briefly at the Admiral's tone. Maya put her hand on the creature's arm, and the patterns returned to orange. "Admiral, with respect, we may have been wrong about the void hunters," Maya said. "Echo was starving when we found it. I think all of them have been starving. That might be why they attack colonies." "You're suggesting they're not naturally aggressive?" asked a man in a scientist's uniform. "Dr. Collins, I'm Dr. Aaron Brooks, xenolinguist. I've been studying the attack patterns for years." Maya felt a spark of hope. "Dr. Brooks, have you noticed anything unusual about the bioluminescent patterns void hunters display?" "Actually, yes," Dr. Brooks said. "The patterns seem too complex to be random. But we've never had a live specimen to study." "They're not random," Maya said. "They're communication." "Echo has been trying to talk to us for weeks." Admiral Crawford looked skeptical. "Dr. Collins, you're letting your emotions cloud your judgment. This creature saved your life, so you want to believe it's friendly, but it's still a killer." "It only killed the pirates because they were shooting at us," Maya said. "It's never shown aggression toward anyone who wasn't a threat." Dr. Brooks stepped closer to Echo. The creature's patterns shifted to a brighter orange, but it did not move away. "Fascinating," Dr. Brooks said. "The patterns are definitely responsive to external stimuli. Dr. Collins, have you noticed any consistent pattern combinations?" "Yes," Maya said, excited to finally have someone who understood. "Blue-green means calm or happy. Orange means cautious or uncertain. Red means danger or anger. But there are dozens of other combinations I haven't figured out yet." Dr. Brooks was already pulling out recording equipment. "This could be the first documented case of alien sign language. Dr. Collins, would you be willing to work with me on translation?" "Of course," Maya said, "but I want to make one thing clear. Echo is not a test subject. It's a being with thoughts and feelings. Any research we do needs to respect that." Admiral Crawford's expression hardened. "Dr. Collins, you forget that. This creature belongs to the Colonial Defense Force now. We will study it however we see fit. Eco's pattern suddenly blazed bright red. It stepped forward, placing itself between Maya and the Admiral. The creature made a deep, rumbling sound that filled the bridge. "Admiral, I suggest you step back," Captain Morrison said quietly. "That creature just eliminated 12 armed pirates without taking a scratch." Admiral Crawford did not move. "It won't attack me. It knows I'm in charge here." Echo's patterns flashed even brighter red. It raised one clawed hand and pointed at the Admiral. The meaning was clear. "Back away from Maya." "Echo, it's okay, Maya." Sighed, "She's not going to hurt me." The creature looked at Maya, then at the Admiral. Its pattern shifted to orange, but it did not lower its hand. "Dr. Collins," Admiral Crawford said, "call off your pet." "It's not my pet," Maya said, "and I can't call it off. Echo makes its own decisions." Dr. Brooks was watching the exchange with fascination. "Dr. Collins, look at the pattern sequence. It's repeating the same combination over and over." Maya looked at Echo's spine. The creature was pulsing 3 distinct colors in sequence: blue-green, red, blue-green. "It's trying to tell us something," Maya said. "The blue-green is me. The red is danger, but what does the sequence mean?" Dr. Brooks was recording everything. "It could be saying protect Maya from danger, or Maya in danger, or even danger to Maya. Or it could be random animal behavior," Admiral Crawford said. "Dr. Collins, we need to transport this creature to the military research facility immediately." Echo's patterns flashed pure red. It took another step toward the Admiral, and Maya could see its muscles tensing. "Admiral, please," Maya said. "You're threatening it." "Echo thinks you want to hurt me." "I want to study it," Admiral Crawford said. "And I want to find out how to use it as a weapon against other Void Hunters." Echo made a sound Maya had never heard before. It was loud and harsh, like metal scraping against metal. The creature's patterns were now flashing between red and a color Maya had never seen before, a deep purple that seemed to absorb light. "Dr. Collins," Dr. Brooks said urgently, "those patterns are completely different from anything you've described." "This is a new behavior." Maya was watching Echo's face. The creature's eyes were locked on Admiral Crawford, and its claws were fully extended. She had never seen Echo look so dangerous. "Admiral, you need to leave," Maya said. "Echo sees you as a threat." "I'm not afraid of this monster," Admiral Crawford said. "It's just an animal." Echo's response was immediate. It lunged forward, moving faster than Maya had ever seen. But instead of attacking the Admiral, it stopped just inches away from her face. The creature's patterns were now pure black, and it was making a sound like a growling engine. Admiral Crawford finally stepped back, her face pale. "Dr. Collins, get that thing away from me." "Echo," Maya said softly, "come here." The creature turned toward Maya immediately. Its patterns shifted back to blue-green, and it moved to stand beside her. "How did you do that?" Admiral Crawford asked. "I osnously," Maya said, "and I treated Echo with respect." Dr. Brooks was still recording. "Dr. Collins, I need to analyze these patterns immediately. This could be the breakthrough we've been looking for." Over the next several hours, Maya and Dr. Brooks worked together to decode Echo's communication patterns. The creature seemed to understand that they were trying to learn its language, and it cooperated by repeating sequences and responding to their attempts at communication. "It's incredible," Dr. Brooks said. "This is definitely a complex language. System, look at these pattern combinations. They're grammatically consistent." Maya was exhausted but excited. "Can you translate anything yet?" "Basic concepts," Dr. Brooks said. "Safety, danger, food, water. But there's something else. Echo keeps using a pattern combination I can't figure out. It points at you, then flashes this specific sequence." Maya looked at the recorded patterns. "What do you think it means?" "It could be your name," Dr. Brooks said. "Or it could be a relationship term, like friend or protector or even family." Echo, who had been watching them work, suddenly made a sound. It walked over to Maya and touched her arm gently with one claw. Then it pointed at itself and flashed a complex pattern sequence. "It's Trying to tell us something important, Maya said. Dr. Brooks, are you recording this? Dr. Brooks nodded. Every second, Dr. Collins, I think Echo is trying to explain something about itself. The creature continued flashing patterns and making sounds. It pointed at Maya, then at itself, then at the view screen showing Earth. It's talking about us, Maya said. About Echo and me and Earth? Echo made a frustrated sound and tried again. This time it pointed at the stars beyond Earth, then at itself, then at Maya. The stars? Dr. Brooks said. It's talking about where it came from. Echo nodded vigorously and flashed a long, complex sequence of patterns. Then it made a sound that was almost like crying. My God, Dr. Brooks said, looking at his translation. Equipment. Dr. Collins, if I'm reading this correctly, Echo is trying to tell us about its people, the other Void Hunters. Maya felt her heart racing. What is it saying? Dr. Brooks checked his readings again. It's saying they're hungry. Oh. Of them, Echo's people are starving, and they've been trying to ask for help. Maya looked at Echo. The creature was watching her with those intelligent eyes, waiting for her to understand. The attacks on the colonies, Maya said slowly, they weren't attacks at all. They were attempts at communication. Echo made a happy sound and nodded. Its patterns shifted to bright blue-green. Dr. Collins, Dr. Brooks said, I think we've been at war with a species that was just trying to ask for food. The meeting with the Colonial Council was scheduled for the next morning. Maya sat in her quarters, unable to sleep. Echo was curled up on the floor beside her bed, his bioluminescent patterns glowing softly in the darkness. The creature had refused to leave her side since Admiral Crawford had threatened to take him away. Are you scared? Maya asked quietly. Echo raised his head and looked at her. His patterns shifted to blue-green, then to a combination Maya had learned meant uncertain. Me too, Maya said. But we have to try. Your people need help. Dr. Brooks had spent the entire night working on translations. By morning, he had decoded enough of Echo's language to understand the basic story. The Void Hunters had lived peacefully in the outer regions of the galaxy for thousands of years. They fed on rare crystals that grew in deep space, far from any planets with life, but something had changed. The crystals had stopped growing. Solar flares, cosmic radiation, or some other disaster had destroyed their food source. The Void Hunters had been slowly starving for years. When they finally found human colonies, they had tried to communicate their need for help. But humans had responded with weapons. Dr. Collins, Captain Morrison said over the intercom, it's time. Maya and Echo walked into the council chambers together. The room was filled with representatives from across the galaxy. Military officers, scientists, politicians, and colony leaders all stared at the massive creature walking calmly beside Maya. Admiral Crawford stood at the front of the room. Members of the council, we are here to discuss the captured Void Hunter and its potential. Military applications. Admiral, Maya said, stepping forward. Echo is not captured. He's here as a representative of his species. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. Echo's patterns showed nervous orange, but he stayed close to Maya. Dr. Collins, said Council President Margaret Stone, please explain what you've learned about this creature. Maya had prepared for this moment. Echo's species calls themselves the Kethver. They're not monsters. They're intelligent beings who have been starving for decades. The attacks on our colonies were not acts of war. They were desperate attempts to ask for help. That's impossible, said General Frank Harrison. These creatures killed 50,000 humans. Because we shot at them first, Maya said. Every single encounter started with humans attacking. The Kethver were trying to communicate, and we responded with violence. Dr. Brooks stepped forward. I've analyzed the communication patterns. The Kethver have a complex language system. They were trying to tell us they needed food, not trying to threaten us. Echo made a sound and began flashing patterns. Dr. Brooks watched his translation. Device. Echo says his people are dying, Dr. Brooks translated. They've been searching the galaxy for food sources. They found human colonies and tried to ask for help, but humans attacked them. So they fought back to defend themselves. Admiral Crawford scoffed. This is ridiculous. We're supposed to believe that galactic terrorists are just misunderstood? Eco's patterns flashed red at the Admiral's tone. Maya put her hand on the creature's arm. Admiral, look at the evidence, Maya said. Echo has been living with us for weeks. He's shown intelligence, communication skills, and emotional responses. He's protective of those who treat him with kindness and only aggressive toward those who threaten him. What are you suggesting, Dr. Collins? Asked Council President Stone. I'm suggesting we establish a peace treaty, Maya said. We help the Kethver find new food sources, and they help us protect our colonies from other threats. The council chamber erupted in arguments. Some members thought it was impossible to trust the Kethver. Others worried about the political implications of making peace with a species that had killed so many humans. Admiral Crawford stood up. This is insane. We should be finding ways to destroy these creatures, not negotiate with them. Echo's patterns blazed red. He stepped forward, positioning himself between Maya and the Admiral. The creature made a deep, threatening sound. Admiral, please, Maya said. You're proving my point. Echo only becomes aggressive when he perceives a threat. Dr. Collins, Council President Stone said, can you guarantee that other Kethver will respond the same way? I can't guarantee anything, Maya said, but I can tell you that Echo is willing to try. He wants to help his people, and he's learned to trust humans. If we approach his people with food instead of weapons, maybe they'll respond differently. Dr. Brooks was still translating Echo's patterns. Echo is saying something about his family. He has a mate and offspring who are still alive but very weak from hunger. Maya felt her heart break. Echo, your family is starving? The creature nodded and made a sad sound. His pattern shifted to colors Maya had never seen before, deep blues and purples that seemed to represent grief. Members of the council, Maya said, we have a choice. We can continue fighting a war against a species that was just trying to ask for help, or we can try to find a peaceful solution. General Harrison stood up. Dr. Collins, even if what you're saying is true, how do we know we can trust them? How do we know they won't attack us again? Echo suddenly walked to the center of the room. His pattern shifted to bright blue-green, and he began making a series of complex sounds. Dr. Brooks was frantically working on his translation device. Echo is making some kind of formal declaration, Dr. Brooks said. He's saying that he pledges his life to protect Maya and her people. He's offering to serve as a bridge between our species. Maya stared at Echo in amazement. You're volunteering to be an ambassador? Echo nodded and touched Maya's arm gently with one claw. His patterns pulsed in the sequence Dr. Brooks had identified as Maya's name. This is all very touching, Admiral, Crawford said, but we can't base interstellar policy on the behavior of one creature. Then let's test it, Maya said. Let me and Echo make contact with other Kethver. If they respond peacefully to an offer of food, we'll know the theory is correct. The council debated for hours. Finally, Council President Stone called for a vote. The decision was close, but Maya's proposal won by a narrow margin. 2 weeks later, Maya stood on the bridge of a specially equipped diplomatic vessel. Echo was beside her, his patterns showing excitement and nervousness. They were approaching a region of space where Kethver had been spotted recently. Contact, announced the ship's sensor operator. 3 Kethver vessels approaching. Maya could see them on the view screen. They were massive, organic-looking ships that seemed to be grown rather than built. As they got closer, Maya could see Kethver clinging to the outside of the ships, their patterns flashing angry red. They're preparing to attack, Captain Morrison said. Wait, Maya said. Let Echo try first. Echo moved to the front of the bridge and began flashing complex patterns. The signals were transmitted through the ship's communication system to the approaching vessels. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the red patterns on the other Kethver began to shift to orange, then to blue-green. They're responding, Dr. Brooks said excitedly. Echo is telling them we have food. The Kethver vessels stopped their approach. One of them sent a transmission back, a complex pattern of lights that Eco responded to immediately. "They're agreeing to talk," Dr. Brooks translated. "But they want proof that we're not hostile," Maya ordered the ship's cargo bay to be opened. Inside were containers of the nutrient solution she had developed for Echo, along with samples of the rare minerals. The Kethver needed to survive. The lead Kethver vessel extended a docking tube. Minutes later, 3 adult Kethver floated into the ship's cargo bay. They were larger than Echo, and their patterns showed extreme caution. Echo immediately swam over to them and began flashing patterns rapidly. The other Kethver listened, then looked at Maya through the observation window. "They want to meet the human who saved Echo," Dr. Brooks translated. Maya entered the cargo bay wearing a protective suit. The 3 Kethver towered over her, but their patterns were calm. Echo swam between them, making introduction sounds. The largest Kethver approached Maya slowly. It touched her helmet gently with one claw, then flashed a pattern sequence. "It's thanking you," Dr. Brooks said over the communicator. "It's saying you saved not just Echo, but all of their people." Maya felt tears in her eyes. "Tell them we want to help. Tell them we're sorry for the misunderstanding." The negotiations took 3 days. In the end, the Kethver agreed to stop attacking human colonies in exchange for feeding stations throughout the Outer Rim. They also agreed to provide protection services for human settlements in dangerous areas of space. Echo chose to stay with Maya as the permanent ambassador between their species. The creature that had once been the galaxy's most feared predator had become its most important peacekeeper. Years later, Maya stood in her research station watching Echo play with a group of young Kethver. The feeding program had been so successful that the species was no longer in danger of extinction. Human colonies in the Outer Rim were safer than they had ever been, protected by Kethver guardians. "Maya," Echo said, using the translation device he now wore around his neck. "Thank you for feeding me when I was hungry." Maya smiled and patted Echo's arm. "Thank you for protecting me like a brother." Echo's patterns pulsed with happiness. "We are family now, all of us, humans and Kethver, together." Maya looked out at the stars.